Hello, everyone. My name is Oleg Kagan, and I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator with LA County Library, and I welcome you to Work Ready, an in-depth tour of Google Docs. Before we get going to today's event, I will take care of some housekeeping and do the land acknowledgement, and then tell you a little bit about the Work Ready program. So if you can hear me and see the slide up on the screen, then you're good to go. However, if you're having trouble hearing me or seeing the slide on the screen, then let me know in the chat and I'll do my best to assist. Before doing that, though, you might want to exit the program and then come right back in. That often is the best solution for when you're having tech issues with Zoom, and very often will resolve the issue. So you do have the option of listening to this presentation on the phone. You can do that by calling 1-669-900-6833 and using the access code 862-2510-3849 and the passcode 123123. Now, you may have noticed that the mics and video for attendees of this program has been disabled, and that is so that everyone can focus on our presenter for the day. Now, we do welcome your questions and comments. Questions can go in the Q&A box, and comments can go in the chat. We will have time at the end of the presentation for questions, so put those in at any time, and I will get to them. And of course, if I ask questions throughout the presentation to you all, then answer those questions in the chat. All right, now it's time for our land acknowledgement. The County of Los Angeles recognizes that we occupy land originally and still inhabited and cared for by the Tongva, Tataviam, Serrano, Kizh, and Chumash people. We honor and pay respects to their elders and descendants, past, present, and emerging, as they continue their stewardship of these lands and waters. We acknowledge that settler colonization resulted in land seizure, disease, subjugation, slavery, relocation, broken promises, genocide, and multi-generational trauma. This acknowledgement demonstrates our responsibility and commitment to truth, healing, and reconciliation, and to elevating the stories, culture, and community of the original inhabitants of Los Angeles County. We are grateful to have the opportunity to live and work on these ancestral lands. We are dedicated to growing and sustaining relationships with Native peoples and local tribal governments, including, in no particular order, the Fernandinho Tataviam Band of Mission Indians, the Gabrielino Tongva Indians of California Tribal Council, the Gabrielino Tongva San Gabriel Band of Mission Indians, the Gabrielino Band of Mission Indians Kizh Nation, the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians, and San Fernando Band of Mission Indians. To learn more about the First Peoples of Los Angeles County, please visit the Los Angeles City County Native American Indian Commission website at lanic.lacounty.gov. All right, and now I'd like to tell you about the Work Ready program. Work Ready started in December of 2020 with the purpose of helping people get a job and improve their work situation and plan a more sustainable career path. We're doing that in two ways. One is we lend out laptops and Wi-Fi hotspots for 6-week loans out of 27 library locations, breaking down one barrier to applying for a job and getting online training. And two is we provide virtual events just like this one on a range of work-related topics, from basics like resumes, cover letters, and interviews, to deep dives into various careers and other subjects to help you succeed at work. And you can see over 50 of those past classes at any time by checking out the work and career playlist on our YouTube channel. I'm going to post a link to that in the chat right now. All right, and before we move on, this Work Ready program is made possible due to funds provided by the American Rescue Plan. And I do want to share what we have coming up for you next time for Work Ready. and that is Work Ready In-Depth Tour of Google Sheets. That's going to be on Tuesday, September 17th at 11 a.m. And if you're interested in Google Docs, you might also be interested in Google's spreadsheet software, Google Sheets. I'm a fan of Excel myself, but over time, I've been using Google Sheets a lot more, and I find that it has a lot of really nice affordances. And also, I'll take you on an in-depth tour of that in a couple of weeks on September 17th. And that program is also free, and you are absolutely welcome to sign up for that. All right, and if you'd like to learn more about library programs, then you can go to our website at lacountylibrary.org and click the events link on the upper right-hand side. If you see the drop, if you want just virtual events, you'll see a drop down, click virtual program, and you'll see just the Zoom events. However, if you're interested in all of the events in person at all 85 of our locations, and you hit that events button, you'll be taken to our calendar. You can sort by age group, subject matter, date, and see all of our free programs that are available to you. All right, now that the introduction is out of the way, let's get on to the subject of our program today, and that is Google Docs. So before we move on to Google Docs, I also want to introduce myself. As I mentioned initially, my name is Ole Kagan. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator with LA County Library, and I've been a user of Google Workspace or Google Drive, however you want to refer to it, for a really long time. I remember back when it came out probably 15 years ago or so, and it wasn't ready to go yet. At that point, I was still using primarily Microsoft Office. But over the years, it's developed in such a user-friendly and featureful, and when I say featureful, I mean features for what most people do, that now I use it as my daily driver in my personal life. I mean, I have a Google account, so I use Google Drive almost every day, and that's Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, all of those. And when it comes to my own personal enjoyment, I've been teaching computers for upwards of 2 decades, and I'm very happy to be sharing about all the Google Workspace and in general, just about digital literacy with you. So thank you all for being here, and let me share my screen and we'll get into our in-depth tour of Google Docs. So I'm going to be using the Microsoft Edge browser today, and we'll get right into the basics here. So this is going to be an in-depth tour, which means that for the first 45 minutes, I'm going to be going through the entire screen of what you'll see when you go into Google Docs. So if you've already used Google Docs, this might be a little bit slow for you. But if you're new to Google Docs or need a refresher, then this will be ideal. Now, one of the things I really like about Google's Workspace software is that there are many ways to do the same thing. And you'll see, as I'm showing you all of the different places to click and all of the different things you can do, that you can do many of them in 2 or 3 ways. And I find that very convenient, because no matter what your preferences are, whether it's pressing buttons just on the keyboard or clicking up in the toolbar or in the clicking icons, it's a very convenient thing that you can access things in multiple ways, especially if you're prone to forgetting 2 out of 3, at least you remember 1. All right, so here we are in Google Drive. This is the home of the Google Workspace. And as I mentioned, Google Workspace consists of Google Docs, which is a word processor. It's where you type letters and other sort of flat documents, primarily made up of text, occasionally images as well. Google Docs also consists of Google Sheets, which is spreadsheet software I'll be talking about in a couple of weeks. Google Slides, which is the equivalent of PowerPoint. You create slides for presentations. And then Google Forms, where you can create forms that people can fill out to get information, whether you're planning a trip or doing something for work where you're asking your customers to fill something out. And then there's also other Google software. Google has a lot of different software, but we're not going to be talking about the majority of these today because these aren't very much used for average folks like us. So what you can see on the screen here is Google Drive. And then we've got our folders on the left side here. The first one is Home. This is where you're going to be spending the majority of your time when you get into Google Drive. And as you can see, right in the middle here is our list of files. So I've used this account before. I've created files in this account before. So you can see the blue ones are Google Docs, the yellow ones are Google Slides, and the green ones are Google Sheets. We can sort them in various ways. We can search by type of file, by the people that created the file, when the file was last modified, so when somebody used it last, and the location of the file. And so some of these locations you can see on the side here. So here you see the file, when I click My Drive, that means the files are just in my Google Drive. So essentially files that I've created, not files that were shared with me. So one of the benefits of using browser-based in the cloud workspace software is that it's very easy to share your documents with other people. This is very helpful for work-related cases, not as helpful for individuals, depending on if you are sharing your documents a lot. So these are the documents that basically I own. There's personal finance. I have some personal finance documents I've created on Google Sheets. Created a whole staff retreat thing for Squiggly Co, which is a fictional company that I made up as a demonstration. And as you can see what I'm doing here, I'm clicking up here, it's a staff retreat. That's the folder that I'm in. And if I click to My Drive, I go back to the top folder here, which is this one here. Then here are the files that would be on my computer if my computer was synced with Google Drive. And so if you are concerned about files, not always being online, then you can sync your computer with Google Drive and the files will stay on your computer and you can open them in your browser still, even if you're offline. We've got shared with me. So if you are working with other people, they can share files with you and you can access them all here. Recent files. So I've been working on Squiggly Co staff planning retreat, OLEX Fantastical document, and some of these other files. So this is sorted by modified. So we got to here sorted by modified. This is recent is just sorted by that, by last modified. And then start, if I have a lot, I don't have that many documents in this folder here or in this account, but if I had hundreds of documents and I always wanted to access certain ones, then I would star the documents and that way I'll be able to use them so I can do that. But where is the star here? I forget where the star icon was here. But there was, oh, here, there it was. There it goes. So I can star the documents. If I add this to starred, then I can always access that file quickly. This is Bumper Pink Lunderfisk's resume. It's not a real person. I can access that with the start. It's like a little bookmark, but there's another bookmark feature in Google Docs. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But this is for Google Drive primarily. And then of course, if you get spam, it'll automatically go into the spam folder. If you delete something, it goes into the trash and you can access it for 30 days before Google deletes it. And then for storage, you can see how much space you have, and Google gives you 15 gigabytes for free, which is a lot if all you have is pretty much documents. It's the photos and videos that take up all the space. So right now we're just using 10 megabytes. So it's like a very, very tiny bit of the space. All right, let's go back to home. Let me quickly look into the chat here. And let me see. So if you're just seeing my face and not the software, you want to double click on the icon, or if you click view, you can go to what I'm sharing. So right now I'm sharing my screen. The Radically, is Google Drive with a colorful triangle icon an app? Is it something I need to download? No. So then the thing about Google Drive and Google Docs is that it's all within your browser. It's cloud-based and all online. So it's a website that you go to. So you can see it's drive.google.com. So if you access your email by going to gmail.com or yahoo.com, it's similar to that. It lives within your browser. Somebody asked where the star icon was. Yeah, I just showed that a moment ago. So if I hover over the file, then this comes up. Here's the star. I'm going to remove the star. And there's another place in the star when we actually open up the file. Okay, so if you have other questions, go ahead and put them in the Q&A and we'll cover them later. So I'm going to get into the actual Google Docs. And I definitely have time for questions later, and I'm going to be happy to answer them for you. All right, so we have some docs here, but I'm going to create a new document. And once I create that document, it's going to go into our Google Drive. So it'll be among these files here on this website, drive.google.com. We're logged into the account. You're logged into your account and your files are stored here. So to create a new document, I go to New, and I just click on Google Docs. So there's a little arrow here, and you can create a blank document. And see, I mentioned there's multiple ways to do things. I could do Alt plus C, so I could hold the Alt button, press C, and then T. So if I just want to create a new document without clicking, but I'm going to click here. And then there's from a template, which I'll show you in a little bit. So let's create a blank document. The default clicking on Google Docs is just creating a blank document. So I'm going to do that. And this is the very beginning of Google Docs. This is what you get when you open up a new document in Google Docs. Some people are afraid of the blank page. I relish the blank page because it means I'm about to write something. All right, so we're going to go all the way from the top and go through this page. So we have the Google Docs icon here, so we know we're in the right place. If we click this, it's going to take us back to Google Docs Home. So Google Docs Home is similar to Google Drive. It just only has our Google Docs files. So you can see that I have the squiggly staff retreat, I have a fantastical document, and I have the Bumper Pink Lunderfisk's resume. Those are the only files I have in Google Docs. So let's go back to our blank document. There we are. On top here is a name of the document. Let's name this our demo doc. All right, so now this file is called our demo doc. If we go back to Drive, and I'm going to refresh this page, and this is the untitled document. The name is going to change in a moment. We just renamed it, so there we go. It changed in real time. So it's all these conversations happening within Google server. And once the connection was made, the title of the document changed, and here is this document right here. Now, a couple of people asked about the star. Here is another place where you can star the document. So once you're in it and you know that you're going to be using it frequently, you can tap that and you see the star filled in. And now we will be able to see this document in our starred documents. Up here also is a little folder. If we want to move our document within our Google Drive to a different folder, different place, we can do that from within the document here. So we click here, and you can see I have two folders currently in my Google Drive, Staff Retreat and Personal Finance. I don't want to move my document. I just want to keep it at the very surface level. So I'm not going to do it. But if I wanted to move it, then I could just click on Move, and it would move my document into this folder. All right, then we've got document status. So this tells us when the document is being saved. So contrary to what we're used to when it comes to working on files on our personal computers, files that are on the computer, which is to say, that you're working on locally as opposed to that you're working on in the cloud, which is what Google Drive is. Google Drive will automatically save the document. So as you're working on it, it is always saving it. So you don't have to worry about losing the changes that you've made. And you can even go back to previous changes, which I'll show you in a little bit. So we can see document status. I've clicked on that. All changes saved to Drive. And it tells us this document is not ready for offline use since we're not sharing it with our local computer, with like our tower, our laptop. We're only viewing it from Google servers in our browser. So we're not syncing this document. So here it's just saved here, and it's always going to be saving. So even if your computer crashes, if it turns off, this document will still be saved, which is really comforting. I don't know how many folks out there have lost documents when their computers have crashed. It's not a lot of fun. So this takes care of that. Moving to the other side here, we can see when it tells us when the last edit was made to this document, which is 2 minutes ago when we created it. If I click on this though, you can see a version history. So as we do things with this file, Google will automatically create versions for us of the document so that anytime if we're like, I really like how this document was 3 days ago when I just started it, or before so-and-so worked on it, and I want to revert back to that version, you can easily do that. And I'm going to show you that a little bit later. So once I start doing things on this document, then we'll see that there's going to be other versions. And again, we'll be able to access the version history from another place here. Show all comments. So I mentioned that Google is often used for collaborating on documents. So here we've got comments. So if somebody comments on this document, that will appear right here. So if you, for instance, if you share it with somebody and you want somebody to like proofread your file, and then, but you don't want them to actually edit the text. You just want them to say, I like this part, I don't like this part, this word sounds weird. Then they can actually add comments, and all those comments will appear here when you click. This is if you want to have this is a little video camera. If you want to have a chat with somebody while you're working on the document together, that's built in to Google. So if you want to chat with somebody who also has a Google account, you'll be able to add them and you'll be able to chat live and work on this document live at the same time. And similarly, we've got sharing features here. So there's a little drop down that says copy link. So if you just want to share a link with somebody, click that, and the link has been copied. I can put a link in the chat. That's a link to this document. You can click on it. I'm not sure if you'll be able to get to it yet because I haven't shared it with anybody. It's a private only to me. But here's what I'm going to do. I clicked on share. Right now, it's just Oleg's Light Shop. That's me. If I want to share with all of you, we can do that. If I can share to anyone with a link, and then what will you be able to do with it? So right now, if you click on that file, you'll be able to enter the file and you'll be just a viewer. So you'll just be able to look at it. You won't be able to comment. You won't be able to edit it. You see right here, people are joining. This is people clicking the link and actually being in the document with me. And you're anonymous. These are all like anonymous animals. We can add commenter features. So if we do that, then you'll be able to comment on the document. And then we can add editor features, which will let you actually edit the text. Other way, you can also add individuals here. So Samvel Tester is not a real person. Will you be able to do that? I'll have to add this person. So if I want to share it with Samvel, I can click on that and also choose what I want to do with him. Viewer, commenter, editor. And here, Samvel, help me with this doc. And I've sent, this will send him an email. Again, Samvel is not a real person. He's a tester. You are sending invitation to Squiggly Code. Squiggly Code doesn't exist. It's a non-Google account. So Google's telling me, oh, this person doesn't have a Google account, but that's fine. I'm gonna share anyway. I'll send an email to this fake email address. All right, so now if we click on share, we can see who has access. Samvel Tester, and then anyone with a link. It's a viewer. Samvel is an editor. I want to make him only a commenter. There we go. And I'm going to save that. And now we can see, I can't see who you all are because you're in this document anonymously. So I can see Anonymous Crow, anonymous capybara, anonymous dolphin. The only downside is you can't choose your animal when you go in. And there's 15 other, so there's 20 of the people. There's 333 people currently in our program, and there's 20 people that have clicked on the link and are in this document with me. Now, if you are sharing this file with somebody specific, then you'll be able to see who it is. Like if you work with people with Google accounts, or if you share it with a friend and they come in, then you'll be able to see their picture here. It'll be the picture that's on their account here. That'll appear here. All right, we've got this start. This is Gemini. Gemini is Google's AI assistant. You can use Gemini is free to use for anyone with Google account. So as with many other companies, Google has placed its AI prominently at the very top of the page. So if I wanted to try their AI, I can click here and I can chat with Gemini. I don't know if it opens up a whole new window or it opens up a window inside Google Docs. I guess I can click and try. Okay, so Gemini, yeah, I could try it out. Oh, so yeah, it's going to open up a new, never mind. I think you need to have Google One to be able to do that. So if you want to use it within here, you're in Google One, which is a paid service from Google. And so there's one other feature that I'll show you later that's a paid service. So if you wanted to use this, you'd have to pay for it. So we're not going to do that. And then, of course, this is your account. If you click that, there's Oleg's Light Shop. There's lights here. And then you can add an account. You can sign out. You can see how much space is used. All right. Everybody with me so far? We've covered the very top of the page. We're going to go to the next area here. And that's this toolbar here. So this is not the icon toolbar, it's the file toolbar. We'll start with files. We go down to file. So again, creating a new document, another way to do it, same thing as this right here. So we get to create a new Google Doc, blank document, or from a template. If we're in a document, we can also create a new document, a new blank document from a template, and that'll open up a new tab. And so I'm going to show you the template gallery very quickly because it's convenient. It's something that you can use without having to create whole new file formats. So I just clicked from a template, so it opened up a new tab for me. So your document is still here. My doc is still here. We don't have to worry about that. And so we want to use a document, a template. What kind of templates exist here? So we've got some basic ones. Resume. If you don't want to format a fancy resume, there are a few options here. And they're actually not bad looking. If you want to write a letter, there are a few options. Personal, it's like these resume. This is like a resume for a pet. I've never seen that before. I don't know why somebody would, maybe they want their pet to have a job, but this is a pet resume. I really want to click on it. I'm going to in a second. I haven't seen what that looks like, but I want to know what this, who this dog is. There's also a recipe template. And then there's various templates that people use in their professional life or in their volunteering. So if you volunteer for a nonprofit and take notes at a meeting, there's a meeting notes template. I really want to click on the dog. I'm going to do it. So I open up that template. These templates are free to use. Here it is. It's pet name. I'm not gonna do it, but you can see if you want to create a resume for your dog, you can use this template. Even a little space about the owner. Right now, it's just Lorem Ipsum text is just filler text. Let's go back. I want to see. I'll show you some other templates. So we've got the recipe template back here, work templates, and if we scroll down further, some of these are add-on templates. So I think some of them may be free, some of them may not be free, but it gives you very specific little button here. It says add-on, so that you know this is not something that comes directly with Google Docs, something that you have to use separately. See, there's some, it says by Zenefits, so employment verification letter. These are some professional documents created by other companies. Some education documents, so there's essays, different formats. So there's a title page for a lab report. There's a whole bunch of templates, as you can see. For teachers, we got a lesson plan. All right, I'm going to quickly scroll up. So we're not going to open up a template right now, besides this pet resume. Let's go back to our document here. Go back to File. If you want to open a new document, you can press Control-O, hold down the Control button, press O, open a new document. You're going to open a document from within your Google Drive. You could open a document that's shared with you, your starred file. So I've got our demo doc starred from your computer. So if you have a Word document or a PDF or some other kind of text document that is compatible with Google Drive, then you can open up a document from the computer, or you can upload. This is if you're synced to it, and this is if you want to upload from the actual computer. All right, go back here, make a copy if you want just a copy of this document. So if, for instance, you want somebody else to work on this document, you can make a copy and then you can have yours, they can have theirs. Sharing, this is the same as this share button right here. Share with others, publish to the web. So if you want just everybody to be able to see it, you can publish to the web, and it's basically just a link to the same kind of link that we created right here. And when with the link, then we've got email. If you want to email this document directly into somebody's inbox, so then email this file, email collaborators. So if you are already sharing it with people, this will automatically email to them. Email draft. I don't know what exactly that means. Oh, I see. Oh, this is an email draft. So this is actually this is the actual email. So you can select people. We can type in email addresses here. So this is an actual email draft, and then it'll take, if you have a Gmail account, which you will if you're using this, then you can actually create your draft in Google Docs and automatically open it then up in Gmail and send it. So that's if you want to, if you send similar emails frequently, or you want to just, if you're more comfortable in this interface drafting your email. That's kind of neat. I've known you could do this, but I forgot that it was right there. All right, and then if you want to download the file, so if you want to bring it from the server, Google server, to your computer, you can download the file, and you can do it in these different formats. .x is the standard Microsoft Office format. ODT is a open document format, so that you can open this, I believe, in Microsoft Word or OpenOffice and some other word processing software. Rich text format is a very sort of low-key format that that doesn't have a lot of fancy features, but it can be opened in almost every text editor, even like Notepad. The most basic text editor will open rich text format files. Most of us know what a PDF document is, a portable document format. It's a document that can't be edited unless you have the paid version of Adobe Acrobat. So PDF maintains its format and maintains its text no matter who you send it to. That's why it's very convenient to send, for instance, resumes in PDF format. So what it does if you click this is that it exports this document and converts it into a PDF. So if you have your resume in Google Docs and you want to convert it to a document that can't be edited before you send it to an employer, use this feature. It'll download to your computer. Then you can attach it to an email or attach it to the application and send it off. And it'll look exactly like it does here. Plain text, that's the most simplest kind of text document. No bold, no italics, no weird formatting, no features, just text. I actually use plain text kind of a lot because it's simple and minimal, and I don't need fancy features, just take notes. So I take notes in plain text format. Web page, it'll actually save it as HTML. This is not something that I use very often, but you can save your file as a web page. That way, if the person you're talking to has a browser, then they can open it. EPUB publication. So if you can actually create a ebook through Google Docs. You'll want to make sure the pages are formatted correctly, and then you can export as an EPUB file, and people can read this book in their e-readers, not an Amazon Kindle necessarily, but an e-reader. And then Markdown is another format. It's a markup format that often used by tech people. So if you want to look up what Markdown is, you can look it up. It's a convenient kind of way to create formatting in documents that will transfer to other software programs. But I wouldn't worry about it if you're primarily using Google Docs as a kind of standard issue word processor. You can rename your file, so you can do it here. You can click here and it'll automatically go up here to our demo doc, and you can change it to our demo doc 01. Or you can just click up here and then remove the 01. Press enter, and there it is. Add shortcut to drive. So if I do this, it's not unlike putting a star by it. Basically, it'll just create a shortcut. It'll be up here. So if you have many documents, creating a shortcut can be a convenient way to reach your file. And then move to trash if you want to delete it. So we can move this to the trash. It's not a big deal. Will be deleted after 30 days. If this file is shared, contributors will still be able to get a copy of it until it's permanently deleted. To access this file, take it out of the trash. So then we're back here. So we just trashed our file, but don't worry. We can go back to the trash and fish it out. Here it is. Let's restore. Delete forever? No. Restore. Our file is saved. Let's go back to it. Moving on. So here we are, so move to trash, version history. So we're back to version history. Version history is something that we talked about just a few minutes ago. That was when we were all the way over here, last edit. So here's another place. This icon is the same here. You see it's a little clock with an arrow going around. So we can see, we can name this version. So this is our baby doc. It was just born. So then if we go to our baby doc, it was created, that document was created at 11/18. This version still blank, so it's pretty much the same. It was named baby doc, September 3rd, 11:32 a.m. All right, and then we've got make available offline. So this is if you want to sync files onto your computer. I'm not going to do that right now, but this is where you would click make available offline. We get the details of the document. It's located in my drive. I'm the owner. Modified at this time, created this time. So this is the basics. Language. My document is in English, but it could be in Espanol and many other languages. And so this basically will let you use will make it clear which language it's in. I don't think this translates specifically. You are able to translate your document automatically in Google Docs, but this is not how you do it. This is pretty much just to tell your collaborators what format this document is in. Even Russian, Ruski. All right, page setup. This is kind of convenient to use depending on how you want to use your document. So we click page setup. We went to whole document, so apply to whole document or just a small part of it. We select it. We've got portrait, landscape. Landscape makes it long ways. Portrait makes it vertical versus horizontal. The size of the document. We're on the computer, so if this document is just going to stay on the computer, you can make it any size you want, and it doesn't make a difference. If you're going to print it, on the other hand, or convert it, as a PDF, then it's going to make a difference to the way people are going to see it. So I recommend just keeping it 8.5 by 11, unless you need you're doing something pretty specific. I wonder if there's a way to do. No, I don't see a way to make the document any size you want. There's no custom feature here. And then page color. So if we want to change the background, make it like light gray to save our eyes a little bit. And then you can change the margins here as well. And if you want to make all your documents appear this way, you click set as default, and all of your documents will keep these settings. Now, if you are going to keep this document just on your computer the whole time, and you don't care about pages, then you can make your document pageless. So let me show you the difference. So here, see our background turned gray. So here we see this is the end of the first page. If we type, and then press enter, go to the next, all these different lines, press enter, enter, enter. See, we've got our ruler on the side here. It tells us how many inches these pages are. This matters if you're formatting for printing. And we're in the next page, type. Here's the next, so we got 2 pages here. This matters if you're going to be printing your document, or if the format, if you want it to be similar to what you would see in an actual page. Some people don't care about that, and so they will make their documents pageless. Oh, my document is infinite. So you can still see that it's on top here, that this is an actual, just a regular page, but there's no actual page markers. So the reason it's all gray here is because I changed the background to gray, and it's similar to the gray that was there. So let me make this a little easier to, okay, so get background color. Let's change the background color to like a light yellow. Oh no, it's changing the whole thing again. So we can actually, in this situation, I guess we can change it. We can make the margins as large as we want. Here's the outline. We have different features here, but yeah, so this now it doesn't matter what the pages are. So we're just going up. I'm just pushing backspace, and here we are all together. So amazingly, now it's just a long infinite page. It can be a little disorienting and confusing if you haven't done this before. Let's go back to just our regular pages. There we go. So now we've got regular pages. All right. Somebody mentioned in the chat, I'll never remember what all these icons stand for. Do they have tooltip reminders? I don't see any when you are hovering over them. So it does actually say what they are. So when you hover over them, it'll tell you what you're looking at. But the thing is, you don't have to remember what they are, because these icons and all these other icons, they're actually all in here. So there's several places where you can get to them. So even if you don't remember what they are here, there's other places where you can go to them. Oh, somebody said, if you don't name your document, what does it save as? It saves as untitled document. So the default is just untitled document. All right, so moving on. So we've got all of this. We got a print here. So if you want to print it, your computer's attached to a printer. Mine is actually not, but I have a default printer here. So then you can print this, and you can set which pages you want to print, how many copies. This is pretty standard when it comes to printing documents. If you want to scale your document, you can make it a little smaller, a little bigger on the page. The quality of the document, 600 dpi is a lot. You actually don't need to do 600 dpi for just a text document. We can just do it 300. It'll print a little faster. The file will be a little smaller. And then if there's images, background graphics on the page, then you have the option of printing those as well. Ooh, somebody commented in the chat very conveniently. Thank you for this. Actually, if you don't name the doc, sometimes it's called untitled, and sometimes it defaults to the first few words. Yes, indeed, that's a good point, and I'm going to show you what that looks like in a second. So these are the print options we have here. And when you print, it's not going to print from here directly. It's actually going to download the document as a PDF, and then it's going to print. It's going to print that way. Actually, that's what it used to do. It may actually print from the browser now, but usually it'll export and then print. All right, so what the commenter mentioned is a good point, that if you don't change the title of the document, it'll first be untitled document, and then it'll take the first things that you type and put them as the title. So most people put the title at the very top of their document, and so that's why it does that by default. All right, so let's move on to the next part. Am I going at the right speed for everybody? Can you let me know in the chat if I'm going in the right speed? I need to speed up, slow down. I know that I'm kind of zooming through some things, or if I'm just right, because we still got a lot to go, and I want to make sure to cover everything, but I don't want to be so slow that we're not that you're not with me here. And of course, this is going to be on YouTube afterwards. So if you want to, if I am too slow and you want to watch this again, then you could quit the presentation now and then watch it on YouTube and speed it up to 1.5 or 2 times the speed. And then I'll be talking really, really fast. Looks like most people are saying good speed. So thank you for the feedback. We'll continue as is. All right, so we've got moving on to edit. Edit doesn't have a lot of features, but it's got a lot of convenient features. So undo, redo, it is exactly what it sounds like. I'm going to erase this. So I've erased that, but I want to bring it back. Undo, and there it's back. If I want to like make this, I want to highlight this. So I'm going to go into my toolbar here, highlight color. I'm going to highlight it in magenta. Stylish. No, I don't like that. Edit, undo. And it's back to the way it was before. But no, I like the magenta. I want to do it again. Redo. Undo, redo. Controls, you can also use Control Z and Control Y. So you hold the Control button, tap Z. Hold the Control button, tap Y. Undo, redo. And they actually appear right here as well. The very first, the second, third thing here on our toolbar. Redo, undo, redo. I want to undo it again. It's been undone. I'm having too much fun. All right, cut, and paste. So cut, copy, and paste. So if you've been a computer user for a long time, this is a very familiar feature for you. If not, then I want to show you what it is. And then it will be a familiar feature for you. So cut, copy, and paste has been around in the language of computing for a very long time. It's one of the things that separates what you can do on an online word processor with a typewriter. With a typewriter, you want to cut, copy, and paste. You have to cut the paper, move around, the paper is gone. Now you just got little scraps of paper. Here you can cut, copy, and paste. So cut means that you take text out from a certain area and you bring it back. I'm going to make this easier to understand by doing like this. I'm going to make these look different. Let me highlight these in different colors because why not? Red. This one will be white and this one will be blue. We're patriotic. All right. So if I want to cut the blue one from here, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to go to edit, cut. I usually push Control Z just because it's convenient for me, but here I can go to edit, cut. There's little scissors here, so you know. Gone. So I've just cut it out of here. But the computer remembers it. It's in what's called a clipboard. So it's like in the computer's memory. So it remembers because we cut it and now we're holding it. So type 3 is held. I'm going to put it up here. So I put my cursor up here. As you can see, the cursor is blinking. I've got my mouse moving here. I clicked up here. I'm going to make a space and I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to do paste. And there it is. So it's back. I don't like that. I'm going to go to undo. And bring it back. If I clicked undo 3 times, Google Docs remembered the 3 steps that I've taken. I highlighted this, I cut it, went here, made a space, and I pasted it. And it just reversed those steps when I clicked undo 3 times. So I've got this back here. Copy is similar, except for it doesn't remove this. So now I've highlighted this again. I'm going to go to edit, copy. So I click that, nothing happens. But what happens is behind the scenes, the computer now has this type 3 in its memory. How can we see that? I'm going to go back up, bring my cursor back up here, push a space, and I'm going to edit. And you can see paste is now available. Cut and copy are not available. because I don't have anything highlighted, so it doesn't have anything to copy. But paste is available because it has something, the computer has something in the clipboard. I'm going to do paste, and there it is. So we got it here, and we've copied and pasted it here. There's also paste without formatting. And when this is convenient is when you're copying from another place, like if you're copying from a website and the text is really big or bold or italics, and you don't want any of that. You just want the basic text. So if all I want is just to say type 3, but without the blue, or I'm going to make it bold and italics and underlined. I'm crazy about typography. So I made this hideous type 3. So I've got this type 3. I'm going to go to edit, copy. I want it down below here. Edit, paste without formatting, Control-Shift-V. Boom. Now it's just the text without any of the crazy underlines and bolds and blues. There it is. So that's this area here. If we want to select all this text, so if you have a really long document or you just want to copy a certain section of your text, you have the option of highlighting the text and copying it. Or if you're too lazy to drag your mouse here, or if your document is 300 pages long and you don't want to drag your mouse 300 pages, you can do Edit, select all, click here, or push Control A. Control A is for all. Select all, and that automatically selects everything. Why don't we copy everything? Copy, and then make a few lines. Oh, see, it automatically made this bigger because it thinks that this is the beginning of a paragraph, which kind of is, but I don't want that. All right, and then I'm going to put my cursor down here, edit, paste, and it just pasted everything that I copied in my whole document. It's all here. Now, the final feature is one of my favorites that you can do if you have a really long document and you just need to replace one word in the whole document, but there's 300 pages and the word appears 1,500 times, then there's a very easy way to do that. Find and replace. I'm going to click that. I want to replace the word type. As you can see, the word type appears, I don't know how many times here. I don't know, 10, 11 times here. 16 times. I want to replace that with the word capybara. I remember there's capybara right there, anonymous capybara. So I want to replace that with capybara. And I can do replace all with a single click. Now I've got a bunch of capybaras. While we're here, now since we're talking about capybaras, I would like to show you something. I'm going to jump ahead, insert, image, search the web. So this is just a Google image search. I searched for capybara. This is a capybara, if you're not familiar. This is a capybara with a bird on its head. Now I have an image in my document. I'm going to make it centered. Now our document has a capybara with a bird on its head. We like this. All right, moving on. So this is our edit. We found and replaced all of our type with capybara. We can also have, so if you want to only replace the ones with a certain formatting, so if I want to do just the capybaras with the capitalized, with the same exact formatting, oh, I spelled it wrong. With the same exact formatting as this, that's not all my capybaras. I think I have one that's not like that. I have one that's where the type should be small. I'm going to go back and look. I thought I had one with, oh, it automatically made this bigger. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the ones over here smaller, make it lowercase. And now I'm going to hit Control H. That's going to get me find and replace. I'm going to just change the big ones, the ones with the uppercase C, and replace it with baby capybara. So I can replace a single word with two words, as you can see. I'm going to hit match case. Only two. Just this one and this one. Replace all, single. Oh, wait a second, what happened there? That's not what's supposed to happen. Oh, I replaced the capital. Ah, I see what happened. Yeah, I replaced what I did it wrong. That's not what I wanted to do. I want to only replace the one with the lowercase. Ah, now there's two, one of two. So now I want to replace these. So as you can see, if you make a mistake, easy to go back and fix it. Replace all. There we go. Now we've got baby capybara here and here. All right. Now that's all of our edits. View. We have different view modes. So what we're doing here is we're editing. This is our document. We're editing the document directly. We can also change to edits become suggestions, which is if somebody is proofreading your document, you click on suggesting, and that way what the changes will be tracked, and you can approve the suggestions, you can reject the suggestions, but they won't just be changed and you won't know what was there before. It's very helpful when somebody is editing a document. Or viewing is just for viewing, so that we won't be able to do anything other than just read the document. So you can change the mode for yourself if you want to. So if I do viewing, I'm viewing the document. I can't make any changes to it. I click and nothing happens. I can highlight things, but I can't actually edit the document. And we go up here, we go to editing, and we're back here. Got some people's cursors right here. Okay. Next, comments. Why don't I show you what comments look like? So if I want to make a comment, if I'm a person out there that shared this document myself, I like this capybara. So I'm going to highlight this. I've got some options here. Can add comment, add emoji, suggest edits. I can also right click and comment, but I like these. I like this area here. It's more easier. Add comment. I like, that's not that. I like this animal. So you see the comment appears up here. I'm the one who commented. I see, here's my comment. If I want to add an emoji to baby capybara, add an emoji. Birthday party. And if I want to suggest an edit, I highlighted the one over here. Suggest edits. You're suggesting. So it says you're suggesting, so then I can exit this, delete the 2, and replace it with 05. Okay, so you see, it made a suggestion, replace 02 with 05, so it crossed off 02, left 05, and then since I'm only the one working on this, I don't need to do this, but if it was somebody else that made the suggestion, then I would come back here and say, oh, I see, here's where they made the change. Do I like this change? Do I want it to be 05 instead of 02? If the answer is yes, then I hit the check mark. If the answer is no, I reject the suggestion. I'm going to hit reject suggestion because I like it the way I had it. So 02. Okay. Somebody mentioned, can you add fancy fonts? Oh, I will. Give me a moment. All right, so that's comments. Then I've got show print row. Somebody said I don't have comment edit icons on the right of the page. If you're looking at this document with me, you wouldn't have that because you're just a viewer. I'm sharing it as viewer, not as commenter. So you would have this on your own documents or any documents that are shared with you as an editor or as a commenter. All right, so here is how we can edit what our page looks like. So this right now is show print layout. So this is what it would look like when we were printing it. Nothing changes here because our layout, we have the page layout here, a normal page layout. I'm gonna remove that. I don't want to look at the comments. I'm gonna remove this comment. Or check mark. I've seen it. Mark is resolved. Okay. Show print layout. It looks the same here because I have a regular paged document. Show ruler, so we can see the rulers on top right here, so you can see where things are as if it was a real page. Here's a ruler at the bottom if I want to remove the rulers. If I like my pages to be, if I don't want them to be busy, if I don't care how many inches are going back and forth, I can just remove that. Some people who are writers want to be able to focus, so then they remove the rulers. show outline. So if we have a lot of headings in our document, if it's a very long document, an outline is convenient, and Google Docs actually automatically creates an outline for you if you have headlines. So we can do that by clicking, well, we're going to make a few headlines here. So if we can select here, it's just normal text. We can make it a heading, heading 1. Boom. So this line's heading 1. We want this one to be heading 1. And finally, baby capybara will be heading 1. And then we make this one, so it's a style, this is the styles area, heading 2. And this one, heading 2. So you can adjust how the headings look. This is just how they look. This is just the default style. So here it's making the changes because it's showing, I think I'm in suggesting mode. Yep, I'm in suggesting mode. So you can see that it's showing the changes that I'm making. I'm going to say yes to them all, and then I'm going to get myself back in editing mode. There we go. Okay, so now it's done this. So we've created all these headings, and now what does that mean? View, show outline. As you can see, it's automatically created an outline for me. So with a small document like this, it doesn't matter. We can see everything on one page. But if we had a 20-page document or 50-page report, having an outline here would allow us to directly jump to any of these areas. Show equation toolbar. If you're going to be putting math equations into your document, there's a toolbar that allows you to do that. You can select different special features. Make a new equation. I'm not going to do that right now, but if you're a math person or will be writing math on the computer, you can do that here. Remove that. Show non-printing characters. So this is if you're very concerned about the specific spaces on your document. So we can see non-printing characters. So these characters aren't going to be printed. These are paragraph markers. So we can see we've got a paragraph. We got space, 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 space. If we create some extra spaces here, these little dots show us that I've created spaces here. And then we got another paragraph jump, line break, line break, line break, line break. These used to be available by default on Microsoft Word when it was just launched, and then people annoyed them. I mean, people were annoyed by them, so that they're no longer default. I'm going to remove them. And somebody mentioned, was the YouTube channel where they can rewatch this program? It's going to be on youtube.com/LA County Library, and you'll get a link by email. So it's already noon. So if you can't stick around, then by all means, you'll be able to rewatch this program. So don't worry about it. All right. So this is the view. We can also make this full screen. So again, if you're a person who gets distracted easily, we can make our document full screen. So it's just the document here. Dismiss this here, and then we can bring it back. Just gotta remember how. Outline. I think it's one of the function keys. Oh, I forgot how to bring it back. I'm going to right click on my document and see if I can bring back the let me see. Is it F10? Or if F10 is going to make my document? Oh no. What have I done? I'm going to exit this. I'm going to go back to it. Ah. Oh wait. There it is. Oh, escape to show controls. I should have read. It said press escape. Oh, I'm just checking if you're watching. All right. Escape. And we're back. I almost thought we were done with the presentation. I don't have anything else to show you. All right, we can remove if we really want it to be blank, we can remove the rulers and then go to full screen mode. And now we don't even have the rulers. So this is a very nice way to make it so that it's just the page. And if you can even make it full screen on your browser, so you won't see any of this stuff, and your whole screen will just be your document. It's a really nice way to focus. All right, I'm going to press escape. Oh, now I know. All right, so back to full screen. Let's go to insert. Oh, there's so much stuff here. We're not going to go through every one of these things. Some of these things I'll just talk through with you because we'll be here the rest of the day if we have to go through every one of these. These are really fun. Okay, so image, we had just used image a moment ago to add this capybara picture. And we have a few options for image. We can upload from the computer. So if you have an image on your desktop that you want an image file, you can upload it and put it into your document. You can search the web, which is how we got this capybara. That'll appear right in the window here. You can upload files from Drive, Google Photos. If you know the web address or the URL, the Uniform Resource Locator, which is just a fancy name for saying web address. If you know the web address of the image, you can click here, just paste the URL of the image, and Google will pull it from the web. And then if you are on your phone or if you have a camera on your computer, then I'm curious how this works. Will this actually use my camera? No, because I think my camera is in use by Zoom right now. But if you have a camera on your computer or your phone, you can actually take a picture immediately and insert that picture into your Google Doc. Okay, if you want to create a table is a mini spreadsheet. You can create a table that's very big. I think 20 by 20 is the max here. There's also table templates, product roadmap, review tracker, project assets, or a launch content tracker if you're a content creator. So we can create a small table here. Tables are very powerful and nice to use if you're planning something. Let's do just 2 by 3 table. Name, date. If you're setting interviews, or if you're participating in interviews, so if you're participating in interviews, we can do company. Squiggly Co. The date of the interview is 9/3. It's later today. You should prepare. And then Google. Your interview is next week, 9/10/24. So you have time to prepare. All right. And then we can make, of course, you have a lot of options with tables. You can make your table look different. So we can sort these things, and I'll show you that in a little bit too. You can make these things different colors. Right now we're going to keep it simple. These things, change the size of these things, change the size of the whole table. Okay. Insert drawing. We can create a drawing. I'm not very good at this. I'll just create a very simple drawing. So right now it's just I want to do a image, so I can insert an image. I can create a text box. I can create word art. I don't recommend word art. It usually looks kind of hokey, but we're going to do one very quickly. So you can add some text. Capybara Parade. And now we can make this text look funky. Make it orange. Green surrounding. I'm not a designer, as you can tell. There. We can make the surrounding bold, make it a funny font. Let's use Comic Sans, of course. Design is my passion. Make it bold. And let's insert this. We're going to save and close, and it'll automatically insert this into my document. So I actually put it put it into my table here. I'm going to cut this out of there. I'm going to put it right here. Edit, paste. And it's basically like an image. Make this a little bigger just for fun. And I'm going to put this in the middle. There. If you want to make a funky word art in your document, you can do that. You can create charts. So you can create charts natively in Google Docs. I recommend using Google Sheets for that, and we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. And then you can insert your charts right into your document. I'm going to show you one in a little bit. You can create a horizontal line. It's really basic. It's just literally a horizontal line to separate parts of your document. You can add emojis. It lets you select different emojis. I'm crying with joy. Smartships are pretty fun. I'm going to show you some. I'm going to save these for a little bit later. Smartships dropdowns. Dropdown is just a dropdown menu. It's convenient to use when you have a lot of similar things that you need to select. It makes your document look really neat. project status. Let's click that. This is there by default. Blocked in progress completed. You can add another option. Let's do a new option. Unsure. And make it red, because you need to know if you're not sure what the project status is. You need to check on that. And unsure. So we can select different ones. And you can put this anywhere in your document. So if you want to create like a to-do list for yourself, drop-downs are a place where you would do that. If you're writing a paper or you just want to have footnotes in your document, you can use footnotes, and that'll the footnote system in Microsoft and in Google Docs is not fantastic, but it does the job. When you insert a footnote, it'll automatically count it. So here I have emoji. I want to insert another one here. Insert footnote. So every time you insert one, it'll count, and you don't have that much. There's not that much ways to customize that, unfortunately, but that's the way it's going to work. This is going to be a drop down. E-signature is a feature that's blocked. This is something you have to pay for. So this is like if you want to use Google Docs as like a DocuSign. So it's a software that allows different people to sign e-signatures. So it'll have a signature and a date and stuff, and it's kind of an official looking kind of thing. So we're not going to use that right now. Building blocks is like a template that you put within a document. So if I want to create meeting notes, email draft, we looked at the email draft already before. Product roadmap, review tracker, project assets. Let's try one. So project assets. So if you have files for a project, you can automatically select files from your Google Drive, or you can upload files, bring files from your computer into your Google Drive, and you can select the files here though. And then, so if you're working with many people on a project, you could have a Google Doc with all of these files there. Describe what the file is. This little drop down. Oh, this is for the borders here. This lets you create borders around your different things. There's already a border here, but you can change the way it looks like if you want to. Description, and then again, what drop down for this document or for this file, and you can add whatever you want to it. So this one is just automatic by default what the tracker had in it. I'm going to remove that. Special characters. So if you want like a trademark thing, so I'm going to do TM trademark. I want to trademark Capybara Parade. So I'm going to exit this. And I'm going to pretend like Capybara Parade is trademarked. I'm going to put my cursor up here. It's going to make it down below it, unfortunately. And then paste. Great. It should be up here, but for now it's up here. It'll be down. It'll have to live down here. There. Capybara Parade. Moving forward, insert. So we can do a whole bunch of special characters. You can draw one if you're not sure what it is, or you can just, there's many categories of special characters. Arrows and different icons. So as you can see, game pieces. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I see there's like, I wonder if there's chess pieces. Yeah, there's chess pieces here. So if you want to write about chess or mahjong, dominoes. Again, equation, that's similar to the toolbar we saw earlier. That's we can view equation toolbar. So you can also insert an equation. Watermark creates a little icon on your document. So if you want to, if somebody's going to print it out or look at the document and you want it to be, you don't want them to steal it and copy it and stuff like that, you can have your watermark on it, and that'll just show that it came from you. Headers and footers, things on the top and the bottom of your document, above and below the margin. So if we add a header, this is our document. And I'm going to double click back in the document. And so this will appear on top of every single page. Appear on the page of every single page in our document. So we've got our document. This is page 2. And our document also appears on page 1. So I'm going to remove that. So you can have a different one on the first page in case you have a title page or like a project, kind of a cover for your project. So you can have a different one. You can have different options, page numbers and things like that. Let's do a page number. Put the page number in the header, or let's do it in the footer. We don't want it on the first page. And apply. So now we've got, I should have appeared down here, first page footer, not on the first page, but on the second page. So here, page 2, we've got it's a page number. So if, again, when we talked about exporting your file as an EPUB book, so if you want to create a book in Google Docs, this is something that you would do. You would create page numbers. It automatically page for you, so you don't have to write, you don't have to do it. And if you remove pages, it'll change it automatically for you. Page numbers, same thing what we did here. You have options of where to put them, and you have other options as well. This is where we were a moment ago. Link, if you want to add a link to a website, this lets you do it automatically. So you put the text, Yahoo, you go to yahoo.com. I think it's HTTPS. There, here's my link. Copy it, cut it and paste it here. So if I click here, if I click, it just shows where it's going. And if I click through, it'll actually take me to Yahoo. So I've created a link. Comment, we've looked at comments before. Again, this is the third place where I've showed you where you can add comments. So if you want to go all the way to insert and all the way down here, create a comment, create an emoji reaction, or it's a bit easier if you're doing it around here. If you're in editing mode or suggesting mode, it'll appear here automatically. You can also highlight and then right click and comment, suggest edits, insert emoji reaction. So as you can see, this is all things that you can do just by right clicking. If I right click with my mouse, it's clicking the right mouse button. You have the options of things I've shown you already. All right, and bookmark. Bookmark is if you have a long document and you want to go to specific areas really quickly. So outline is one way to do that. Bookmark is another way to do that. And then table of contents. Google Drive will automatically generate a table of contents for you from your outline and put it wherever you want in the document. And then if you change your headlines or you change your headers, it'll also move the table of contents around. Way better than creating a table of contents by hand that you have to change every time you change a document. So through the wonders of technology, Google Docs can create a table of contents for you. That takes care of our insert. Format is we can do different things with our text. We can make our text bold, italic, underline, strike through, make it a superscript, make it a subscript, change the size, and change the capitalization. So if I wanted to automatically change the capitalization of any of my text, I can do that. Let's go all the way up to beginning. I want to make this all caps. I go to format, text, scroll all the way down, uppercase. And now automatically made it uppercase. I can do that with my whole document by highlighting everything. I just edit Control A, so select all. I just push Control A because it's more convenient for me. So I'm going to edit and select all, format text, capitalization, uppercase, and now it looks like I'm screaming. But what am I screaming? Capybara. And then, but I don't want this to be this way, so I'm going to do edit and undo. And now it's back to normal. Imagine if you weren't with me this whole time and you just came into this document. That would be weird. So anyway, we can do all of these formatting things. We can also do these things right here. So these are it's basically a replica of what you have in your toolbar icon here. Bold, italics, underlined, change the font size, change the font, and change the style. You just have to go to format bold. I usually prefer to do it right here because it's closer and you don't have to click as much. Paragraph styles. So this is the same thing as this right here. Paragraph styles are the way that your document looks, and you can change the way all of these look. So these are just the defaults. You can change all of these styles. So if I want to make my headings look different, I can change these. So if I want all my headings, for instance, to be a different font, if I want them to be, so I've added interesting fonts to I like fonts, so like interesting typefaces. So if I want them to be all Montserrat, fancy, and I want them all to be bold, I'm going to remove the Capybara 3. Actually, that's clear formatting. There's a clear formatting button here. Oh. And I want it to be bold, like like its friends here. And Montserrat. And you know what? Size 20 is not ideal. Let's do size 22. Now, it's currently heading 1, but I want all my heading 1s to look like this. So I'm going to do update heading 1 to match. And so now my heading 1 style is the typeface Montserrat, and basically the font Montserrat 22, bold. And so when I changed this, when I updated the heading to match, it did it to all of my headings. Again, the wonders of computing. And my outline stays the same. Align and indent. So you can do that right here. Basically the same thing. Apply, update, and down here, apply, update. Here you can just see what they actually look like. So right over here, align and indent. So you can change where you want things to appear on the document. So if I want everything to be on the left side, centered, or right or justified. Justified means it's like a book. It basically spreads it out through the whole thing. It automatically will space things for you. So I'll show you what justified looks like with this line here, our patriotic line. Align and justified. So actually I didn't do it here because it's already got spacing. Essentially it would spread it out throughout the whole line. You can also do that, change it right here. So let's make it centered. That way, easier to demonstrate. So we got it's centered right here. And so that's lines. So we also have line. So that's align and indent. We can increase the indent. So if we have paragraphs, we can increase the indent, decrease the indent. That's basically the tab, how big the tab is. There's options for how much from the right, how much from the left, special indent. So this is for typographical design here. So we got just indent the first line, and then if there's a hanging line, whether we want to indent it. Next, we've got line spacing. So there's various options for line spacing. I hate spaces before and after paragraphs. I always remove those because I want to add those myself. I don't want the computer adding them automatically. Unfortunately, Microsoft Word and Google Docs puts them in by default. I do not like this, but it's good that I can change it. The size of the line, so by default is 1.15. If I wanted my line spacing to be single, I'm going to select all and make my document a little tighter. So you can see there's a little bit of extra space here, 1.15. I want the space gone. So I'm going to go to single. And now the space is gone. So now it's just exactly the size of the line. If I wanted more space, so if you were writing an essay for a school, double space tends to be or 1.5 space tends to be the standard, because professors and teachers like to have some spacing between the lines to write. So then it's double spaced. So my document is longer. So it did for the whole document. I'm going to bring it back to single spacing, but I need to select all and single. Now I feel more comfortable. All right. You could also do custom, so you can say exactly how much you like. And then you have various other options here for line and paragraph spacing. Columns, if you want to create columns in your document. I don't think columns are very elegant in Google Docs. I don't think it treats columns very elegantly, but you can make columns, and I can show you what that looks like in Bumper Pink Lunderfisk's resume, which I used in a previous program on AI. The text of this resume was created completely in using AI, but the formatting was created by me. So I wanted there to be some columns. So this right here is 3 columns. So otherwise it would look like format. Oh, so I think it's already in 3 columns, so it doesn't want to remove the columns. Oh no, never mind. This is not a column. I think I made it into a table because it was easier to use if it's a table. But essentially, this let me do columns here. Let me show you what columns look like. So if I want to make these into, let's do 3 columns here. So this is all one column. There's another column here, and there's another column here. So I'm going to see if I can make it move to another column. So this is what I mean by not being so elegant, because it doesn't tell me exactly where the columns go. So I think I'm not going to do that. So we can make a line so we can kind of see. Yeah, sometimes this doesn't work very well. Columns. I wonder if I make it normal text, will it be better? No, I've had issues with columns on Google, so I'm not going to do that right now. We can fiddle around with that some other time if you have questions about columns. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now now it automatically spread into 2 columns. All right, so now it's 2 columns. You can see the line in between, and you can make the size of the columns different. I just don't like how it adjusts the columns automatically, because sometimes it makes your long lists look a little weird. Let's remove the columns. We get 3 columns. So now there's another column here, but there's not enough text to fill it out. So let's go back to 1 column. All right, bullets and numbering, numbered lists, so we can make our list. Oh, convenient. Let's insert a list, numbered list. So we have options for the format of the list here. So here's just 1A, here's with the little parenthesis, here's with the dot, here's with the letters, so that it's not a numbered list, it's a letter list, an ordered list pretty much, with the letters. And then we've got 0, 1. So let's just do the one with the parentheses. So it automatically created a list for me. It indented a little bit, gave a space here. And if we press enter, it'll give us another number here. It'll give us a number 4. And so we can make as many as we want. Dog, cat, lizard. Hard to see. Let's remove the. There we go. So we can also create unordered lists if we don't want the numbers. So we've got these things right here as well. So here it's a numbered list, and here's a bulleted list. Since we're messing around in format, we'll go back here. Let's make it a bulleted list. So you have options for the way that the bullets look. So let's use the stars. There we go. And so now it's an unordered list, just stars. Going back to here, bullets and numbering, so we can also do a checklist. So if we want to build a zoo, and we want all these animals in our zoo, we've got checkboxes. I've got a dog, a cat, and a lizard, and capybara too. So now we've got a little to-do list. We can make our to-do lists more complicated in Google Docs, but we're not going to do that right now. All right, headers and footers we talked about, page numbers we talked about, page orientation. So you can change your page from portrait to landscape pretty easily. Let's go to landscape. And there we go, it automatically just changed it to horizontal view. I'm going to change it back to vertical, back to portrait. And then we saw the page list format earlier. So now we can actually, so you can see we've got a couple of pages here, and we can, with a single click, change to page list format. And now it's all just one long page. We switch back just as easily. So we can create tables, images, and borders. We can adjust all these. This lets us change everything we've inserted from here. So if we've got a table right here, we should be able to edit this table from here. Yeah, so we've got options. Add more rows, insert more columns, delete rows, delete columns, pin header to up to this row. On pin header, distribute rows so we can make create some more space, merge some cells. So it's basically whatever we select. So if we want to merge these two cells, we can do that by going to Format, Table, Merge Cells. Now it's all just one long cell. And then sort ascending, sort descending, and table properties. So again, you have a lot of options with the way your table looks, where it appears on the page, how it interacts with the text around it, which are the size of the columns. Minimize these so it's easy to see. The size of the rows, where the text is aligned in each cell. If we wanted to align on the bottom, then it'll be as far down as possible. So you see it's down here. If we wanted to align, select this, top or middle. And how much space, and the cell padding is how much space is right here. How much space is around it. So if we want to increase that, we've got more padding all around it. All right, and then the color. If we're color oriented, we can make our border a little different and make the insides of the cells different. So here, because I've selected only this one, it only made this one green. There we go. All right, and then that's the table. We can also do similar things with images and borders and lines. And one of my favorite things, clear formatting. Sometimes things have too much formatting. And we've got an option of clear formatting here or right over here. Do clear formatting. There. Now it looks plain. Okay, so we've got a lot of other things to get through. We're going to get through these things pretty quickly because I want to show you something. I want to show you a document that I've created using Google Docs. And then I want to also get to some questions. I think I might actually go very fast in the document and get right to the questions because I want to get to as many of them as possible. So per usual with word processing, and again, if you have to go, you can go and just watch the questions at another time on, you could do it on YouTube. So spelling and grammar is a pretty normal thing. So here capybara 03 is not a word. So it wants to help me here. Say capybara space 03. So this works pretty standard ways. If you have a little zigzaggy line, that means you've got a misspelling. I like the word rigmarole, but sometimes I think it's rigmarole. Rigmarole means difficulty or challenge. Is it spelled right? I can't tell. It's not giving me a problem. How about that's spelled wrong for sure. That's right click. So it gives me, if I click on it, it'll give me a spell suggestion, rigmarole. I can give feedback if it actually is a word. I can always correct this automatically. If I keep making the same misspelling all the time, I just want Google to take care of it, always correct it. Like if there's a word that I know, that is just a word that only I use, or it's a specific, maybe it's like a proper noun that Google doesn't recognize, that I could add it to the dictionary. And then we were previously in the spelling and grammar check. So this is where if I would have clicked up here and did spelling and grammar, then that would have brought this up. It's sometimes easier just to solve it right in the document. So I'm going to click here and it'll fix my word. So this is spelling and grammar. I'm not a big fan of the grammar check, but if you use the grammar check, then you can change options for it here. Show grammar, remove the grammar suggestions because I don't like grammar suggestions. Word count. How many words? I have 38 words in this document. characters. If I want to display while I'm actually typing, I can tap that. And here I have 38 words. Space, brother. Now I have 39 words. Ah. Wait. Should be updating automatically, but it's not. Let's look at the word count again. Oh yeah, now it updates, but it is, for some reason, it wasn't updating automatically. That's not great. Google needs to fix that. Review suggested edits. This is the same. This is what we were talking about way in the beginning when we've made suggested edits, and you can just go through them all automatically. If you have two documents and you want to see the differences, like if you made a copy of this document and your friend was editing it, then you can see the differences. Or if you have resumes that were a few years apart, you can compare the documents and you can see the differences. If you want to cite websites or other things, and you want to put those citations in your footnotes or anywhere else in the document, you can use citations. So it'll even do different formats here. MLA, APA, Chicago style. This takes me back to being at the university. I haven't cited things in MLA, APA, or Chicago in a pretty long time, but I can if I want to. E-signature we talked about before is in another place. Line numbers. So we can have line numbers in our document. That way, if we want to talk about it, if I want to go and chat with a friend about this and we want to be specific, we can talk about it. I don't like line 20. And then we can work on that together. It's not a feature I've actually ever used, but I might use it because I write poems sometimes, and having line numbers would be convenient. Linked objects, so you can link objects within your Google Drive, and I'll show you that in a second. Dictionary, if you want to look something up. What does rigmarole mean? I pressed enter, and here is the word, a lengthy and complicated procedure. Fuss. This is what fuss means. Fuss bucket. I spelled that wrong. Ah, that is a word. I may have spelled it wrong too, again. All right. Translate document. Let's translate this document into Russian. So Google will automatically do it. The translation isn't always ideal, but it does work. It does a passable job of working. Here it is. Now my document's in Russian, and it created a new document, and it's called a translated copy of our demo doc. So that's now stored in my Google Drive. And that's right here. It's going to appear in a moment. There it is. So it's really easy to do. You go to Tools, Translate Document, and then choose a language. There's a lot of languages that Google is able to translate into. Okay, don't need to do that again. And then voice typing. I don't know if I can do voice typing now because I'm not sure. I'm using a microphone with Zoom, but if you have a microphone, you can do voice typing, and and you can just speak and it'll type. And Google does a pretty decent job of capturing it. So you can speak your document and then later go back and edit it. Notification settings. So that depends on if people are around, if people make suggestions, you can have it. You can have Google prompt you whenever anybody makes an edit to your document, for instance. That's what's in here. I haven't gone into preferences in a while, but we can. So automatic capitalized words. So in the beginning, when it capitalized type for me, if you were here way back when it went to the next line and it capitalized type, you can turn that off. Smart quotes. So it's quotes that will automatically face in the right direction. Automatically detect links. So if you put a website, it'll automatically make it a link. If you put a list, you have 1 dot, type something, 2 dot, type something, 3 dot, type something manually, Google will then go, oh, that looks like a list. And when you make another line break, it'll give you a number 4 automatically and then format the list as a list. We talked about Markdown a little bit earlier. It's a way to mark up your text without actually making things bold, but just showing that it's bold. And that way it's kind of portable into different pieces of software. Wouldn't worry about Markdown unless you need to. Automatically correct spelling, show smarts. These are pretty self-explanatory. And then if you want to substitute specific words or icons with special characters, you can do that. So actually I could have done I looked up TM earlier, but I could have just typed in TM and it would have substituted with this. I want to try that. Candle, TM. Did it do it? It didn't do it. Should have done it. I guess it doesn't do that. Oh, there it goes. So if I made a space and then I'm gonna do it again. TM, boom. And if I don't want it to be substituted, then I can go back to it, I guess. And I Control Z or undo, and it undid the translation. That's pretty cool. All right, and accessibility. There's various accessibility options: screen reader support, Braille support, collaborator announcements, and on-screen magnification support. So this works with other software. And then I would click Learn More if you have other questions about accessibility settings. Extensions is a convenient thing to talk about, but that's more like advanced Google Docs. I only have one. I have app scripts because sometimes I write scripts that will automatically do things with my documents. I'm not going to talk about that today, but it's possible to kind of programmatically make adjustments to your documents, and that's across Google Drive. And then Google has a pretty good training and help. So if you're confused about things that are happening in Google Drive, you can always look things up. And then there's a lot of keyboard shortcuts. So if you only want to do things with your keyboard, if you want to be like a fast programmer, you go without even clicking around. Okay, so that gets through all of our things here. We've actually gone through the majority of what's over here, and that's actually covers the majority of what's over here. What it didn't cover was search. So we want to search these menus. We can do that, capitalize. And here we have a shortcut. So instead of going all the way in here and clicking 3 or 4 times, you can just click here and type, and it'll give you like a dictionary, personal dictionary, voice typing, start voice typing. So that's faster for some people. So you push Alt and it's actually Alt and question mark, and then it'll bring up this menu. I'm going to do that more often. And then you can type what you need to do. Undo, redo, print. This is spell check. It'll automatically bring up spell check at any time. The paint format. I like paint format. It's something that I haven't used very often, but lately I've been using it a lot. Here's the way it works. So if you notice this format here, this is blue, highlighted blue, and text. If I want to apply this format really simply to another part of my document, I'm going to highlight this. You can't see that's highlighted very much, so I'm going to do a different one that you can actually see. I'm going to highlight this one. So Capybara 03, it's yellow. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to do Format Painter, Paint Format. And then I'm going to immediately after highlight, so you see the icon of my cursor has changed. I'm going to highlight another part of my document. How about candle? And magically it will transform, or it should, transform to that. Something is off here. Is this actually, oh, I see. This is not actually a, this is just this. It's saying this. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Let's make this yellow. I'm going to show you how this works properly, or make the text different color. Let's make the text purple. So rigmarole is purple. I'm going to highlight that, select paint format. My cursor is going to change, and I'm going to paint candle. And see candle changed to purple. So if you have a lot of strange formatting or a lot of just distinct formatting, then you can easily change a different part, make a different part of your document that formatting using Format Painter. This 100 here is zoom, so I can zoom out of my document. So if I want to see more of it at the same time, or I can zoom into my document if I want to edit it closer. Sometimes if you're having trouble reading the text on the screen, you can zoom in. Very convenient. Oftentimes if you're sharing your screen with other people, sometimes they'll have trouble seeing it unless you zoom in a little bit. We talked about styles already. Fancy fonts, I've got them. Google has a lot of fancy fonts that lets you use for free, and you can add more fonts by clicking here. I really like doing this. You can search for some fun fonts to add to your documents. Here's a font called Manrope. I don't know why. And here's a font called Quicksand. Inconsolata. That doesn't sound happy. But you can add all those fonts, and that is happy. Change the size of the font. I'll make Candle bigger. I can either select exactly how much bigger I want to make it, or use the plus and minus. Bold, italic, underline. Here is the text color. I can make my candle appear any color. I want to make it dark red. This is the highlight. So I've highlighted over here capybara and the capybara here. This is if you want to insert a link. This appears earlier. We've seen this before. Add a comment, add an image, aligning our text, line paragraph exploring, checklist, bulleted list, numbered list. So if we want to create lists, we want to highlight our text and then select which list we want to create. And this is indent. So if we want to increase the indent over here, there we go. It's the same thing as pressing tab on your keyboard. And here, clear formatting. Highlight all of these, clear formatting. And then down here is we change our mode once again. And it's just another place to do that. And then we can remove our toolbar. Okay, so we've gone through this. This was a lot. I'm going to now show you a very quick document, and then I'm going to get to questions. So I'm going to go to Squiggly Staff Retreat Planning. This is a document I created for a fictitious company where a bunch of people were planning a staff retreat using Google Drive. So as you can see here, I've created a table and I've inserted people into the table along with their email addresses. I've changed the colors on the table. Here is where I've used smart chips, and that is insert smart chips. So you can insert smart chips with date, people, file, calendar, event, placeholder, or a place. And then you could also add, if you don't know exactly what it's going to be, you could add these. So that's what these look like right here. So if I wanted dates, so I wanted like due date, and I wanted a date that would format the same way every time and be easy to select as a date. So if you were just typing in this September 3rd, 2024 in Google Docs, it would just be plain text, just like anything here. But if you want it to be formatted like a date and for the computer to know it's a date, then you would use this. And then I could use the calendar to select a date. It also makes it easy to sort. So I've got these all out of order here. And if I want to sort by due date, I can sort descending. And this is from the latest date, or oh, you know what? How did it sort here? September 3rd, September 20th, August. So you know what? I think I know why I did it, because it's the format, but it should sort properly. I think we need to edit I know it's these numbers, the way the date is formatted is not correct, because it's looking at these as a 1 instead of as 10. So we would need to work with the way that these are showing up, and we could do that in a different place. I think it's maybe right here. If we did like that, then that would probably work properly. Just really quickly change these and see if that helps. This is another thing that this is actually an inconvenient kind of thing that Google made that we shouldn't have to do it like that. Let's see if that changes it. There we go. So now it's proper. August, September 7th, September 10th, September 20th. And then also we got the in progress here. So if I put this chip or this drop-down menu in front of the smart chip, then I could sort by due date and status. Conversely, I could also just put them in separate columns, and then it would be also easier to sort them. So this is all just native to Google Docs. But these chips appear anywhere. You can use these in anywhere in the Google workspace. So it's very convenient if you're working with a lot of other people and you need people's names to appear differently, so and you want to search for them, you want to sort easily. I mentioned inserting charts earlier, and that's what I'm doing here. So here I've inserted a chart from Google Drive or from Google Sheets. So if I click here, I have some data here. And what I've done here is basically taken this data. These are all employees from Squiggly Co. and their RSVP status. So imagine there was a form. The form was sent out by email. They responded to it. Their responses came here. And here's a pie chart of all, let's give it like a donut chart of all the responses. This updates automatically when people respond. Some people have no responses, but we always want to have at a glance who's responded. And so we have that here. So anybody can go to this document, see the responses. If this changes, so if somebody said yes, the people that hadn't responded all say yes. So it changes automatically here. This change doesn't happen automatically here, but we conveniently have this refresh. And we're going to update. And now it's changed. So it's 66% say yes. These people say no. There are no non-respondents. So we're all good. And same thing I have here. I have the event date, so another date smart chip. And I have the schedule for the day, and that's also in Google Sheets. Same thing here. I have the schedule for the day conveniently laid out. It's easier for me to change it in Google Sheets than it is in Google Docs. And so I have this file automatically coming in from here. That's a nice thing about Google Workspace, is that different elements of files can come together, and Microsoft Office also has this option. All right, so that shows you a lot of what you can do. So I have these are all headings. So as you can see, my outline is here. Just want to quickly run through that. Okay. That was a lot. So somebody asked, how did you get the pie chart? I went to insert, actually insert that specific area from Google Sheets. So that basically insert and then from Google, insert file or insert the chart from another area, but I can also just do insert pie chart and select that file to get the data from. Chips would be insert and then smart chips. All right, so that was a lot of information. I've also got a lot of questions. I'm going to do my best to answer a lot of them quickly. But if I can't answer your question, and I have 78 questions currently, so I'm not going to be able to answer all of them, please email me. I'll be happy to answer your question by email. But if you can, do a Google search first, because a lot of these answers exist online. A lot of people use Google Docs, and so a lot of people have tutorials about it and how to use it creatively and all kinds of examples. So by all means, take advantage of what you have right at your fingertips. I'm going to put my email address in the chat, and then I'll also send the follow-up email, so you can just respond to the follow-up email. All right, let's answer these questions. How do you get to Google Drive? drive.google.com. That's way from the beginning. Does Google have an equivalent to PowerPoint? Yes, Google Slides. Which is easiest for the beginning to learn? Google Slides is easier. The Google Workspace docs are a lot easier to learn, in my opinion, than the Microsoft Office suite. If it's Google, is it useful in a work environment? Do others in your office need to agree to use it instead of PowerPoint? It's helpful if everybody in your office uses similar software, but it's not a deal breaker. You can still, any computer that you can use Office on, you can also use Google Docs on or Google Slides on, because it is in the browser. So you can bring it up anytime. And you can also export your Google Slides, so your slide deck, as a PowerPoint file. Some of the formatting will change, but in essence, it'll still be there. I'm going to have a Google Slides webinar at some point, and probably in the next month or two. So look out for that. How do you save documents and not have them in the cloud? Should they be saved in My Drive? So Google Drive is it's in the cloud. That's where it lives. You can't not save things in the cloud, because the way you access them is in your browser. Now you can sync files onto your computer, and then if you're not connected to the internet, you can still use your browser to open them. But once you get back to the internet, they'll sync with the cloud automatically. So one of the distinctions of Google Workspace is that it's cloud first. So that's where it is. If you'd like only a software that works on your computer, OpenOffice, Microsoft Office, those all work on your computer. Can documents created with this program be converted to Excel? With Google Docs, no. With Google Sheets, yes. Can you address the issue of privacy, security, and Google monetizing our data and keyboard strokes? Is this a legitimate concern or just paranoia? It can be a legitimate concern. The risk of this data being used for any nefarious purposes is very low. Google has millions of users. Google doesn't, I mean, there aren't engineers at Google who are looking into your document specifically, or it's very unlikely that they're looking at your document specifically or looking at your keystrokes specifically. This data is all coming into their servers and being analyzed algorithmically by computers, for things that happen on a computer, basically just to serve you an ad potentially. So humans aren't really directly involved in this. So I wouldn't say it's paranoia. I would say that it depends on what your level of comfort is with privacy. If you are afraid of companies having your data in any way, if your threshold is 0, then don't use Google. Don't use Google at all. Don't search Google. Don't use Google Workspace. Don't have Google account. You can turn on some privacy settings within Google, so it doesn't serve you ads based on what's on your screen. But in general, I mean, it's a free service that you get in exchange for them mining some of your data. My Mac Finder window doesn't show Google Drive files that someone else adds and shares. Is there a way to see everything in the Mac Finder window? No, because they are cloud-based files. So they only appear within drive.google.com. They're not on your computer, so they wouldn't be in Mac Finder. Can you save your Word files to Drive? You can upload your Word files to Drive. Yeah, so you can, when you go to New, and then you can File Upload and select them from your computer, and you can upload them. So they'll be saved as, Word files, and then you can convert them to the file to be used natively within Google Docs. And the formatting changes will be very minor if your file doesn't have a whole lot of images and a lot of words, Microsoft Word specific stuff. Is starring a document the same as pinning? It's similar. Yeah, because you'll be able to go and you'll be able to see it, but it won't appear on the top. Can you save a Word document as a Google Doc? Yes. So you can't say within Microsoft Word, you can't. But if you upload the file, then you can convert it very easily to Google Doc. What's the main difference between this and Zoom and the primary benefits over Zoom? Zoom is used for doing streaming presentations. Google Docs is used for word processing. So it's totally different functions. There are posted links in the chat, but the chat say feature. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, so I'll send whatever links I posted in the chat in the follow-up email. There doesn't seem to be a way to permanently delete files that were shared by other people. These files are old, out of date. If I press delete, the document just moves to the bottom. I see. So you can just remove the sharing. So you can just you can remove it and have it stopped being shared with you. You may be able to move it to the trash also. So the idea is pretty much that you just need not see it anymore. So yeah, you should be able to just like disconnect the sharing. Maybe I missed it, but it looks like your Google Drive homepage was already open when you started the workshop. How do we open this page from scratch? You go to drive.google.com. What do you press first to get a new doc? You go to New at the very left-hand top of the page. There's a little plus sign that says New. Click that, and you scroll down to where it says Doc, and you just click on that. It'll open a new document for you. What browser are you using? For this workshop, I was using Microsoft Edge. but it works in any modern browser. Firefox, Brave, Chrome, any browser will do. How can I secure a document to keep it private from Google itself? If you're using Google Docs, then you cannot, because it lives on their servers. Again, the only way to do that is using software that's on your computer. Does this all apply equally to Mac and Windows systems? Yes, because it's all happening in your browser, so the operating system doesn't matter. Can I name various versions of the document saves? Yes. So you can change the revision. You can change what the revisions are called. You just go to revision history and you can change the names there. If we have multiple Google accounts, how can we switch to different accounts when using Google Docs? So when you switch to different accounts, it'll switch to a different it'll switch to a different Google Drive. So you won't be able to look at the same document. You'll be like in a whole different house. But yeah, you click on where your profile picture is, and then it lets you switch to a different account. How can we import a PDF file into Google Docs and edit it collaboratively? So you can import a PDF file into Google Docs, but you can't convert that PDF file to a Google Doc. It'll just be the PDF file, and you can open it within your browser, within the Google Drive interface, but you can't actually edit a PDF file collaboratively because a PDF is a closed format. So that you'll have to use Adobe Acrobat to save it as, convert to a different file, and then you can upload it to Google Docs. As far as I know, you can't import a PDF and convert it to a Google Doc file, which then you would be able to edit collaboratively. How do I give other people access to my doc? The share button on the top right-hand side of the screen, click on that, and you've got various options for sharing. How do I place this document into my Google Drive? It depends on the document, but you can go to New and then File Upload. It's a file from your computer. I am in your doc, but how can I get to know which icon is mine? You can't, because Google automatically anonymizes people's where their accounts are not shared with specifically. So you'll be a different anonymous animal anytime you go into that doc. And when I click the link, the doc doesn't look like yours. Yeah, my screen would have slightly different options, mainly because I'm viewing it in a different mode. So I was using editing mode instead of viewing mode. You, on the other hand, would have just viewing mode, which would remove all of the different editing options. What formats are compatible with Google Docs? .txt, so text files, rich text format files, .doc, which is Microsoft Office files, open document format, or .odt files. All of those, which are the majority of the files you'll see when it comes to word processing, will import into Google Docs. I just said that really fast, but when you watch this on YouTube, you can see it again and slow it down. When you say documents that are compatible with Google Drive, what does that mean? Would that include Microsoft Word? So I just mentioned the different file formats that will translate into, will upload and work with Google Docs. And yeah, that would include Microsoft Word. Again, the formatting might change slightly. And if you're using Word-specific features, then those would not import into Google Docs. But the majority of the way people use documents, yeah, it would pretty seamlessly upload. I don't have a cloud account on my PC. Can I still use Google Docs? So you don't need a cloud account. You just need a Google account. So you go to Google, Gmail or, Google Drive.google and create a Google account, and then you're good. You don't need any other cloud accounts. If you rename a doc, does it save previous doc with the old name? No. So it'll just overwrite the name that you had before. If you want to save the previous doc with the old name, then you would need to create a copy of the file. And it's very similar. You go to File and just create copy. And it'll give you an option to change the name of the file. How do you move more than one file to another drive? So I don't know if you can move them directly to another drive. You can share them on another drive and then save them in that drive. But I don't think that you can just move them to another Google account. I'm going to answer a few more questions, but it's already past 1, so I'm going to try to do my best here. Do you need to make the doc available offline before you share it with others? No, so it's not going to be available. You don't need to sync it at all. I mean, it's the Google Drive is browser based, so it's all in the cloud. You don't need to do anything special to share it with others other than click the share and select the options. How can I move text that is in a Word document onto a Drive document? You can copy and paste it. That's if it's not a lot of text or if it's pretty straightforward text, you can just highlight it all, edit copy, and then move the cursor into Google Docs in your browser, and then push Control V on your keyboard or go to Edit Paste, and it should all appear there. Why would we use Pageless? If you don't care about pages and you just want an infinite scroll, if you don't be distracted by the pages, by how many pages there are, it's an option for people who are just using sort of keeping their files just in the digital format. All right. How do we add page numbers to a blank document? How would you add a header to a blank document without the header appearing on the first page? You double click the very top of the page and the header options will appear. And then same thing within the header options, you'll have an option for page numbers. Which icon is used to convert to a PDF? It's not an icon. If you go to File, Save, there'll be a little menu and it'll give you various file options, and one of them will be PDF. That'll export as a PDF. How do you translate documents to another language? You go to Tools, I believe, and you go to Translate Document, and it'll give you an option of what language you want to translate it into and how you want to name the newly translated file. How to print on 2 sides of the paper. That depends on whether your printer is able to do that, and that's something that you can select when you select the printer options. So you can actually have it come up with the printer options from your computer instead of within your browser, and that's where you would select to print double-sided. But it depends on if your printer is able to do that. My print section does not look like yours. It took me straight to the screen to print from my printer, but would love to have a screen like yours to select from those different options, especially to remove graphic from printing. That depends on your specific computer. Now, most print options will allow you to have essentially very similar options to what you would find in Google Docs. And I would say that actually the Google Docs options are somewhat pared down from what you would get on most computers from the system printer screen. I also use a Yahoo account. Why, when people send me a document, it just pops up in my Google Drive? I don't know there. I don't know it's there until I see my file is full. They might share it with you might have your Yahoo account linked with your Google account, or they might share it directly with that account, but that's a question I can't answer without actually seeing what it looks like. Can I create a document on my computer, not in Google Drive, then upload and edit in Google Drive, ultimately to share? If you use a different piece of software like Microsoft Office or OpenOffice or even Notepad and just save it as a text, .txt document, then you can upload all of those files that you save into Google Drive and share them. How would you delete highlighting in a document sent to you? If you have editing options, then you could highlight what you're interested in, removing the highlighting from, like highlight it with your mouse, and then hit clear formatting, and that'll remove the highlighting. Please do a comparison, Google Docs versus Microsoft Word. We actually have a program where we've done that, and I will include it in the follow-up email. I'm trying to determine the main advantage to learning this. Most of what you shared is what can be done in Word. Is this when saved in the cloud, works regardless of the type of document program one has, even if you're using Microsoft Word and there's an Apple program? Okay, so it's free. That's one benefit. Two, it's not necessarily either or with Word. I would say the Microsoft or Google Docs is easier to learn and easier to use. It's more pared down. You can share the files easier. A lot of people have Google accounts, so you can collaborate more easily than you do with Microsoft Word. So it's not necessary. It's whatever your needs are that create the advantages. Both programs are excellent. Microsoft Office, Word is excellent. It's been around for a really long time. It has a lot of great features. It's not that hard to use for the basics. And the same thing with Google Docs. So it's really what you need. Will this be available on YouTube later today? Probably tomorrow. Please compare Google Docs with Apple Pages. I would like to do that, but I don't have access to a Mac. So I've never actually used Pages, so that would be more difficult for me to do. But you can Google that because I'm sure, if you search it online using Bing or Google or any search engine, other people have done it. And so you can find that information online. This feels a bit elementary. Yes. Will you be doing a deeper dive into the more complex functions? That's where I need more help. Honestly, there aren't that many more complex functions in Google Docs. It's really pretty basic. What you see is what you get. Microsoft Word, on the other hand, has a lot of much deeper functions. Can we make comments on a PDF file? I've never tried. I doubt it'll let you make inline comments, but that's something that you would want to try to do. You want to see if you can, when you open up a PDF file in Google Docs, see if it'll let you make inline comments. But I suspect it doesn't. How do you put someone into suggestions or commenter? You share, and then you give them rights as you share with their email, and then select, instead of like you select editor, viewing, or suggestions, or like commenter, and just select commenter there. Can a figure caption be created under a graph? Yes. I don't know if it can be done directly. I think you just make the font on the next line smaller and put it in there at the very least. I don't know if there's a built-in way to create a caption within Google Docs, but there might be. How do I view this lecture on YouTube? I'm going to send the link to you in a follow-up email, but you can also just look at our YouTube channel, lacounty or youtube.com/LA County Library, and then it'll appear. There's turn on your notifications, and it'll appear there when I post it. Where is spell check? So spell check is automatically built into Google Docs, and it'll appear, the little cross-hatched red lines will appear when you spell something wrong. But also, I think it's in tools. Tools spell check is one of the first options. All right, I think this, yeah, I think unfortunately I'm not going to be able to take on any more questions because it's time for me to get off. I appreciate you all being here and sticking around with me. If you still have outstanding questions, just email me. I'll when you get the follow-up email, just send me your question and I'll do my best to answer it. Before you go, I'm gonna post the post-event survey into the chat if you have a few moments. Please fill that out. I would very much appreciate it. I hope to see you in a couple of weeks for Google Sheets. It'll be a similarly deep dive with examples, and hope to see you there. See you next time.